Right now, somewhere on this planet, there is a person who has done everything right. They went to work, they paid their bills, they didn't blow money on stupid stuff, and every single month, like a good little adult, they moved some of their paycheck into a savings account. They're proud of themselves. They should be. But here's the part nobody mentions at the bank. That money, the money they sacrificed for, the money they protected, the money they thought was safe, is quietly losing value while it sits there. Not because they did something wrong, but because the way saving was taught to most people is one of the cleanest little lies in the entire financial world. And today, we're going to take it apart. Let's start with the word itself. Saving. It sounds noble, disciplined, responsible. The kind of word your grandmother would approve of. But here's the trick. The word saving got twisted decades ago. In the old days, when your great-grandparents put money under the mattress or in a tin, that money kept its value because the world they lived in barely had inflation. A coin saved was a coin earned. Same coin, 10 years later, same purchasing power. That world is gone. Today, when somebody says, "I'm saving money," what they actually mean 90% of the time is, "I'm putting money into an account that earns me less than 2% a year, while everything I want to buy with that money is getting more expensive at 4 or 5% a year." That's not saving. That's mathematically going backwards while feeling responsible. You're not building wealth. You're paying a subscription to feel safe. Now here's where it gets a little dark. Banks aren't stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. They know that almost no one, including most adults with degrees, actually checks whether their savings interest rate beats inflation. They count on it. Because when you see a number going up, even by a tiny bit, your brain reads that as progress. It feels like you're winning, even though the actual value of that money is slowly shrinking, like a sandwich somebody is taking secret bites out of every night. Your brain doesn't see the bites. It sees the wrapper, and the wrapper still looks full. And here's the second part of the trick. Banks pay you a small, dignified interest rate on your savings, and then take that exact money and lend it out to other people at 5, 10, sometimes 20 times the rate they paid you. Your savings account isn't really your money sitting safely in a vault. It's the bank's working capital, and they're tipping you a small percentage for the use of it. They thank you politely. You thank them back for the privilege. It is the most elegant magic trick in modern life. They take your money, use it to make a fortune, and convince you that you're the one being responsible. You aren't saving with them. You're lending to them, at their rate, with your money. So why don't people just stop? Why don't they pull their money out and put it somewhere that actually grows? Because the trick isn't financial, it's emotional. The savings account isn't really storing your money. It's storing your fear. People who grew up worried about money, and which is most people, have a very specific need that has nothing to do with returns. They need to be able to look at a number on a screen and feel calm. They need to know it is still there. They need to see it, touch it, almost. Investing, even basic low-risk investing, feels like letting go of the rope. Your money disappears into something you can't immediately see, controlled by people you don't know, going up and down for reasons you don't fully understand. That's not a financial decision. That's a parent telling their child to let go of the side of the swimming pool. And most people just can't. So let's get specific. Let me show you what saving actually looks like over a real lifetime, because this is the part that genuinely changes people. Imagine you save $100 a month for 30 years in a regular savings account paying 2%. Sounds great. Disciplined, responsible. At the end of 30 years, you'll have around $50,000 in the bank. Then you go to spend it. And you'll discover that $50,000 in 30 years buys about what $20,000 buys today. Half of what you saved isn't real money. It's a receipt for time spent being responsible. Pause for a second. I genuinely want to know. Drop it in the comments. What's the longest you've ever kept money sitting in a savings account doing absolutely nothing? A year? 5 years? 10? Be honest. No judgment, just curiosity. Then come straight back, because the next section is where this whole video turns around. Now imagine that same $100 a month for 30 years. But instead of a savings account, you put it into a basic, boring, low-cost investment that averages 7% a year. Same effort, same monthly deposit, same person. At the end of 30 years, you don't have $50,000. You have around $120,000. More than double. For the same 30 years of work, the same $100, the same discipline. The only difference was knowing which container to put it in. Saving versus investing isn't a small difference. It's the difference between getting older and getting wealthy. Here's the quiet rule that should have been taught in school instead of trigonometry. Money sitting still is money slowly dying. Money moving forward, even slowly, even boringly, is money staying alive. That's it. That's the whole concept. The reason wealthy families stay wealthy across generations isn't secret. It isn't a stock tip. It isn't a hidden offshore account. It's that they figured out decades ago that money has to keep moving. Into things that grow, into things that produce, into things that earn while they sleep. While most regular families taught their kids to save, wealthy families taught their kids to invest. Same word in their head. Completely different action. Saving teaches you to protect what you have. Investing teaches you to multiply it. Most people were taught the wrong lesson by people who didn't know they were teaching it. Okay, so what do you actually do with this? 3 moves. Not financial advice, not stock picks. Just 3 quiet shifts. Move 1. Keep a small savings buffer. Not your whole life. A buffer. Enough for emergencies. Enough that you can sleep at night. Enough that you don't have to sell anything in a panic. For most people, that's 3 to 6 months of basic expenses. That's it. After that, every extra dollar should not be going to savings. Move 2. Get comfortable with the word investing. I know that word feels scary, like it belongs to people in suits with 20 screens of red and green numbers. It doesn't. The simplest investing, a low-cost index fund that tracks the whole market, is almost as boring as a savings account. You set it up once, it runs by itself, you barely look at it. The boring version is the one that actually works. Move 3. And this is the most important one. Change the question. Stop asking, is my money safe? Start asking, is my money working? Safe money is sleeping money. Working money is the money that quietly builds you a life. Those are 2 different jobs. And one of them you have completely outsourced to a savings account that isn't doing it. So here's where we land. The savings account isn't evil. It isn't a scam. It has a real job, keeping your panic money somewhere stable. But it was never supposed to be the main strategy. Somewhere between your grandparents and you, the word saving got slowly substituted for building wealth. They are not the same activity. And the reason most disciplined, hardworking, responsible people still end up financially stuck isn't because they failed at saving. It's because saving is exactly what they did, faithfully, for decades. And nobody told them it was the wrong container. You're not behind because you didn't try. You're behind because the people who taught you tried in good faith with information that was already out of date.
A special thanks to our treasured guest Will for once again narrating our video for us. If this video made you look at your savings account a little differently, subscribe. Because next week we're looking at something that might be the most uncomfortable Dark Sense video yet. Why your friends might be one of the biggest reasons you're still broke, and you're going to recognize the people in it. See you Tuesday.